Yep, I'm doing this video laying down. And I'm guessing it's not going to be the only one because my MS affects my core a lot. It's my lower back, which took a long time for doctors to understand. They look at my legs and they're like, oh, she has weakness and spasticity in her legs. And that's not wrong, but it, it came from my midsection first. It came from my core first, from my lower back. In fact, for a long time, I thought I had chiropractic issues, which I probably did because I was a horse trainer and I was throwing big, heavy Western saddles and stuff. And it's like, oh, you better stop doing that. And like every horse trainer has lower back issues, so of course that's what it is. And so then when the MS happened, it was like, oh, that's a different thing. And I mean, it's embarrassing how long it took me to understand that it's it's one and the same. It's actually my lower back, and my mom was a massage therapist, and she used to always say, "Oh, it's your quad." She'd be massaging me. I was so lucky because I had that. I had her massaging me like all the time, which was crucial for pain relief, and it just so much. I'm sure you guys can imagine. Some of you wonder if massage therapy is useful. I mean, I can't tell you if it is for you, but for me, it was, it still is when I go and get a professional one. My mom passed away, so that's why she doesn't massage me anymore. But um, it was it was amazing for pain relief and mobility, but mostly pain relief. So anyway, she used to say, I say, "Oh, what is that? Also, that really hurts." And she'd say, that's where your quadratus lumborum attaches." And you can look that up, like Google that, and you'll see it's like your lower back, um, to almost to where it attaches to your pelvis in the back is the best way I can explain it. And I was like, she's like, "I think most of your problems come from your quadratus lumborum." And it took me forever. And finally, I'm in like my third or fourth physical therapy place. And I'm like, maybe I should mention this. And I did. And boy, that made a difference. So anyway, also, so your issues as far as walking and things like that, your neurologist, they have their place and they definitely have their purpose. And for some patients, it's, you know, they put more emphasis on their neurologist, and others just don't even deal with the neurologist anymore. But what I can tell you is that don't think that your neurologist knows everything because, I mean, they can't. They're a human being and they've studied neurology, and that's a huge subject in and of itself. There's so much to know with that. So, you know, when they're evaluating your walking, they're not physical therapists. They're not studied in kinesiology and all of those things. And even physical therapists have gotten it wrong with me. So, thinking it was, my legs, when in reality it was coming from up above. And I had to figure it out. And I don't know if I would have been able to figure it out if I didn't understand biomechanics just from being a riding instructor for so long. So sometimes what you think is the issue is actually, as far as physically, like how your body's working or not working, sometimes what you think is the issue is actually like the symptom of the issue. So my leg weakness and spasticity, the leg weakness was because I wasn't using them as much, so they were getting weaker. Why wasn't I using them? Well, because the part above, the core and the upper part of my glutes and my abdominals were weak. So I wasn't doing as much with my legs. I had to rest more. So my legs got weaker and more spastic from not being used. But the first thing was my core. And God, I wish I'd known that 22 years ago. I also wish I'd known that physical therapy can be really, really helpful. And again, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. But I have had this stupid thing for 22 years, actually probably longer, but I was diagnosed 22 years ago. So I've learned a thing or two along the way, And I think to myself, God, what would I have wanted to know back then? So, if it helps one person, then it's worth it. So, thanks for tolerating me doing this lying down. I know you guys can relate because we get tired. And this is where my body is in the least amount of pain. So, thanks. Be well.